Hello and welcome to the second module of this course. In this module, I will be showing you how to draft a bodice pattern for a male CNS garment. In drafting a bodice pattern for a male CNS garment, I will be making use of the following measurements: the back 17 inches, armhole 17 inches, the neck circumference 15 inches, the back waist length 18 inches, the garment length 58 inches, sleeve length 26 inches, and the sleeve opening is 11 inches. Here I have my pattern paper laid on my pattern table, as you can see. So I have my starting line drawn out, which is the first step. So I draw out a starting line, which is going to be the starting point for all my vertical measurements, and I label this as the starting point. Then by the side of my pattern paper, I have my center front line drawn out as well. From the edges of my pattern paper to this line is 2.5 inches. So this 2.5 inches is going to be the placket allowance for the front panel and the vent allowance for the back panel. In making a male CNS garment, the front and the back are to be cut together. What do I mean by this? No joining on the shoulder line, except if your fabrics is not enough. Unlike the celestial garment that has opening at the shoulder line, which requires cutting the front and the back panels separately, purposely because of the placket on the shoulder line. But in the case of a CNS garment, the male CNS garment, the opening is at the center front, so no opening required on the shoulder line. You can only see a male CNS garment with joining on the shoulder line if the fabric is not enough. Maybe the person is trying to manage the fabrics, so it has to be cut separately. But normally the shoulder lines is not meant to be joined together, so which is the method I will be showing you in this tutorial. No joining on the shoulder line. But as for my pattern paper, I have a single piece of pattern paper because I'm still going to place this on my fabric to cut, so there is no need of folding into two. So I'll be drafting the front and the back panels on this. By the time I'm ready to cut out my fabrics, then I will be showing you the process in which you can use in cutting out the fabrics. So I will be drafting the front and the back panels together on this side. The front panel is a little bit different from the back panel, just a slight difference. There's a difference on the neckline area and there's a difference on the armhole area. So here I have my 2.5 inches extra measured out, so which is going to be for two purposes: placket allowance for the front panel and pleat allowance for the back panel. So guys, the next step is to insert the back measurements. The back measurement I'm working with is 17 inches, so the back measurement has to be divided by 2. 17 divided by 2 gives me 8.5 inches. So the line I drew here is the center front and the center back line, so which means I will start taking my measurements from this point. So I will not start taking my measurements from the edges of my pattern paper. If you know you can get confused, what you can do is to fold in the extra 2.5 inches so that you will not make a mistake of taking your measurements from the edges. So you can fold it inward like so. So guys, now I have my extra 2.5 inches folded inward, as you can see. So now every measurement I will be taking will start from the edges now, which is this point. Okay, so I will be inserting half of the back measurement, and this will be inserted on the starting point line I drew out. I'm not inserting my measurement on these edges, so what I have here is not part of the measurements. So I'll be inserting my measurement on this line. So from the center front here, don't forget this edge is for the center front and the center back. So when I'm saying center front, I mean the center front and the center back. So from the center front here, I will place my measuring tape, then insert half of the back measurement. So half of the back measurement is 8.5 inches. So this is based on the measurements I'm working with. So whatever you have as the back measurement for your client, so you will divide it by 2. So whatever you have is what you'll be inserting on this line. So after inserting this, I've gotten this point. So I will not make use of this exact half of the back measurement. And because this is a garment, when raising up the hem, there must be a kind of ease for the wearer. So because of this, I will not maintain this measurement. I will be adding extra inches to the measurement. Now, how much do you need to add to this? You can add as much as 2 inches, 2.5 inches, or 3 inches. This depends on the wearer. And mind you, the value you added will determine how wide the upper part of the garment will be. So if your client wants something fitted and free at the same time, you don't need to add much value to this. Okay, so the least you can add for a male garment is 1.5 inches. That is, you want a fitted garment, you will add 1.5 inches. Okay, so apart from 1.5 inches, you can add 2 inches. If you now want it very free, okay, that is when you can be making use of 2.5 or 3 inches, because this extra is coming to the armhole area. In order not to have much excess around the armhole area, so that is why you need to pay attention on the value you will be adding to the back measurement. Because of what you have here now, the back will be wider. So by the time we attach the sleeve is not going to be on the center of the shoulder, just as I explained in the first module, that the sleeve joining does not fall on the center of the shoulder, purposely because the back measurement has been extended. With this I'm doing now, I'm moving the center of the shoulder away from its original position. This is the original position of the center of the shoulder for the wearer. You can see what I have here. So when I move this away by 1.5 inches or by 2 inches, so which means this point will shift and come to the side. And this is what will determine the positioning of the armhole, and the sleeve will be attached to the armhole. That is why a garment sleeve does not stay on the center of the shoulder. It usually stays on the bicep area. So for this wearer, I will be adding 2 inches extra. So from the half of the back measurement point, I will measure 2 inches forward. This is 1 and this is 2. I have it there and I will cross this out. So which means this is no more the back measurements. So now that I have this done, I will confirm the measurement I have all together from the center front to the new shoulder point. So the shoulder point is the same thing as the back point. So here I have 10.5. Yeah, I have 10.5 inches because initially I measured 8.5 inches. Now I've added 2 inches, so I have 10.5 inches for the back measurements. So guys, now that I've inserted the back measurements, the next step is to construct the armhole. In constructing the armhole, I will need to insert the armhole depth measurement. The armhole depth measurement is gotten from the armhole circumference measurements, which I showed you how to take in the first module of this course. The armhole circumference measurements divided by 2 is the armhole depth measurement. And for this tutorial, I'm making use of armhole circumference of 17 inches. So I will be dividing 17 inches by 2. So half of that is going to be the armhole depth measurement. So I'm working with armhole circumference measurement of 17 inches. Half of 17 inches is 8.5 inches. But I will not make this 8.5 inches because this is a garment which has to be free as much as possible. Free, fitted, and smart. So I will be adding extra half of an inch to this because I don't want it to be too wide. But if you are making this for an elderly person, you can make it 1 inch. Okay, so after the half of the armhole circumference measurement, then you will add extra 1 inch. But as for me, I'm adding half of an inch. So instead of 8.5 inches, which is half of 17 inches, I will be making use of 9 inches. This value is to ease the armpit area. The armpit will not be too tight. So the armhole depth measurement I will be working with will be 9 inches instead of 8.5 inches. So I will make this a straight line by inserting the same 9 inches on the other side. Then I will be connecting the 2 points together to make a straight line. Okay, so now the next step is to insert the back measurement I have on the starting point line on this line as well. So this is the armhole depth line, so I will insert the back measurement I have here. So in total here I have 10.5 inches. The rim measurement is 8.5, and I added 2 inches as ease on the shoulder line. So 2 inches plus 8.5, that is 10.5 inches. So I will be inserting 10.5 inches on the armhole depth line. Okay, so this line is the armhole depth line. So I will label this as the chest line. The armhole depth line is the same thing as the chest line. So I will label this as the chest line. Now I have this labeled as the chest level. You can see what I have. If I say chest line or chest level, they both mean the same. So here is the chest level. So I have this line here, this marked out, and I have this marked out. So the next step is to connect these 2 points together to make a straight line. This line is the armhole line. So this is the line I will be using in constructing the armhole curve. So in constructing the armhole curve, I will get the midpoint of this line. So this is 9 inches. The midpoint is going to be 4.5 inches, which is here. Then I will extend this point inward towards the center front, not towards the side, towards the center front. Okay, just as I said at the beginning of this video, that I will be constructing the front and the back panels together on this pattern. So the differences I have between the front and the back are the neckline and the armhole construction. So I will be constructing 2 armholes on this pattern, the front armhole and the back armhole, and I will show you how to go about this when I'm ready to cut out the fabrics. So firstly, I will be constructing the front armhole. In constructing the front armhole, I will measure 0.75 inward from this point. So from the armhole line, on the line I extended inward, I will measure 0.75, which is here. So when I have this marked out, then I will be inserting quarter of the chest circumference measurement. In taking the chest circumference measurement, the measuring tape comes from the back, like so, and I will wrap it around the fullest part of the chest. So you can see what I have. So when I have it like this, I cannot take the chest circumference measurements like so. So I will release my measuring tape because this measurement has to be taken with ease, and my middle finger is going to be a guide for me. So I will make sure my middle finger touches the center of the chest. You can see what I have. So when my middle finger touches the center of the chest, so that means my measurement is okay. So this measurement will be okay for a male CNS garment. It will not be too loose and it will not be too tight. You can see what I have. So this is a guide for me. My index finger touches the center of the chest. And for him, I have 38 inches. So this is how to take the chest circumference measurement.